Okay, good. Hey, thank you. I'm going to do this 2007, okay? I continue to do a considerable amount of research. I continue to submit my resume. I couldn't believe it. Everything true about my background was beginning to slip away. Now, at this point, I'm still operating completely in the context, highest level of honesty, integrity, and the healthiest context. How would I know about anything like this? I'm used to the incorporated norm that I've explained, through these disclosures. Okay? This is something which is in completely different context. I didn't know it. I continued to, 3 or 4 times, stay in touch with, I understood it was a law, but at the same time there was a complete ulterior motive of something that's completely unrelated, or is it? I take it that this is an area that I'm about to disclose to you that I have personally experienced this. And I cannot believe in a city, 3-4 million in population, I take that of the utmost seriousness. What is only career related, and for some reason I wasn't making that match. It was foreign to me. You can keep this one very short. I don't know exactly. I'm going to do more videos present day form. I do have the files I backed up. I'm not looking at them. I just knew it was U.S. Department of Labor, Education, and Justice. We pay for professional management of this country. I know nothing about politics. I am not a political scientist. Okay? The only thing I do know is building on curiosity. You can see from my past reviews, I'm fully disclosing my background. I now understand by force, but it should make no difference. Should it? Should it make any difference? I mean, think about it. Should it make any difference where I'm actually located? I mean, that's a very large population base. And this should have been a piece of cake. Or is it? I do analyze. Okay? I continue to learn, build on curiosity, growth, and maturity goes on indefinitely. I understand. I'm very fortunate, and it's very important that's in proper context. And yet somehow, and God only knows how something like this could happen to me. So I didn't know any of this yet. I continued to do what's been normal throughout my background. Okay? That's what was important. I understand it's seek individual counseling, or did I? I'm going to disclose to you in this review, okay? I'm not sure of the exact date, and this actually came later, but I'm going to utilize this time slot. Okay, this happened a year or 2 later. Okay. Yes, I continue to stay in touch with Jim Harris III. Look him up. Look up Stephen K. Simpson, Alabama State Government. All I know is it's for people with disabilities to achieve their maximum potential. Let me tell you something. I did decide to go back for individual counseling. I went back to Western Mental Health at the highest level of expertise in the healthiest context. And you want to know the honest truth? I was told the background Now, remember, all those psychiatrists, psychologists that I met with in Lake Forest, all of what you have disclosed about my background, okay? I was told my background is schizophrenia. I've been through the whole thing out here. I didn't even know it. I'll guarantee you, he couldn't use psychology on me. I'm very much aware of my background. For whatever reason, I'm a person that for whatever reason, okay, I cannot believe that it's a fully incorporated norm with what's been consistent for over 30 years, and I come out here and I describe the same thing. I didn't know about EQ at that time. I was just about to touch upon it. No, I did. I'm jumping ahead a year or two. Okay? None of this is medical. Not one bit of it. I'm learning, though. Might be slow. That I do not fully understand. I'm used to only the highest level of honesty, integrity, the healthiest context. That's all I've known all my life. And yet I am told he could not figure me out. And how could you? You know nothing about my background. So how can you use psychology on me? You can't. Okay? I've fully disclosed it. You've got it all right here. This I find to be most interesting. Are you in agreement with that respect? It's really not what I think. That's what this... He tried to figure me out whether I was going to seek some individual counseling. And by the time I went down the stairs to my truck was the first time I realized how powerful these special interests are in actually incorporating it as a norm. Think about that. This is something where I come from never would be acceptable. That's serious stuff. I'm going to conclude it in present day very soon. I'm just slipping it in. Yes, I'm in foresight here by a year or two because I've got some other things I want to cover here. Okay? I'm sorry this is a rough draft. Okay? I wouldn't believe I'm saying at this time a completely different incorporated norm. We could look at the actual files and the dates. I kept track of, my computer is very important as far as my career. And I have the actual files and dates if it ever is going to be further refined. And I do believe it will very much be. You've got someone who came down here, builds on curiosity, growth, and maturity goes on indefinitely. And I'm learning. It should make no difference where I'm, or does it? When there's a basis, that's what's important. Boundaries do not get crossed. This is way ahead. I've heard about things like this before. Never in my lifetime would I believe that what is completely irrelevant. And who am I to say an incorporated norm? I'm saying it. Okay? I know the highest level of health in the healthiest context. I would have to look at these healthcare acts and bills. I have never, I don't know anything about politics or special interests yet. It's about 4 or 5 years later. Serious stuff. Very serious. I would need to delegate. I have nothing to know about political science. I don't know anything about lobbyists. I don't know anything about special interests. It's incorporated as a norm. I don't understand a lot of this, but I am fully aware of who I am and what's 100% true about me. I understand this is very serious boundary violations. Very. This is something I know nothing about. Pulling the strings, maneuvers of ulterior motives, most recently, you expect entrusted servants and laws, and yet, when I talk about criminals, I mean, unheard of. And this is foresight, because this occurred in a various date range. I can tell you that when I contacted, Jim Harris III, about 3 times a year, okay, as I submitted my resume and continued to attempt to make the match, I don't know how this could have happened to me. Well, I certainly do know the basis, though. That's not medical. It's laws. It's corruption. I didn't even know it. My Facebook page at facebook.com/Richard Moss reflects that in a couple of years. I come from Lake County. I never experienced anything like this in my lifetime. Never would boundaries ever be violated with the most powerful. I take that most serious. I dismissed it. Schizophrenia. I dismissed it. I think the American Psychiatric Association's Legal and Ethics Department is where this belongs. My background is who I am. It cannot be changed, or can it be? I'm spanning ahead quite a bit in foresight. Way ahead from 2007. I was operating when there's a basis, I'll leave this up to you. I am slow in learning about it. I do have to admit this is something I have no experience in, and neither would I ever want to know anything about. I have to be honest about an incorporated norm. I didn't know anything about pulling the strings. Only the highest level of honesty, integrity, and the healthiest context, exactly consistent with my past. I don't know about any of this. None of it. It's a basis, all right. Okay? I'm still continuing that I have no history of any disorders. None of that. Look at my history. Okay? This is only relative to, it's a completely different incorporated norm. And we will go on. I'm going to update 2008. This is something that has been included as an incorporated norm. I didn't know anything about it. I've heard about things like this before a long time ago. Not in my lifetime. I've never come across people who listen but have ulterior motives. It's not health. Or is it? These are very powerful, and never did I experience anything like this in over 30 years. I'm fully aware of exactly what's true about my basis. And when I mention that, I take that of the most serious nature. The first time in my life, I realized how powerful these special interests really are. That's exactly what I learned. Did he find out whether or not I was going to seek individual counseling? I shook his hand. Thank you very much. I understand that is serious stuff and it's criminal. It's fully incorporated as a norm. I wonder for how many decades. I'm not a political scientist. I know nothing about this field in any manner. I just know that I've only experienced the highest level of honesty and integrity. Over and over again, I'm needing to say that this is completely foreign to me. A PhD in vocational psychology, and to be in a position which later I learned a lot more. Thank you. Thank you very much. This incorporated norm, completely foreign to me. When there is a basis, it's the basis. The truth always comes out, or does it? I've heard about junk. How can you grow? How can you experience? How can you learn? You've got all of my background to base it on here. And I find that so out of context. It's very important, psychologically very important. That's the utmost. Or is it the special interest politics? This is something I would never want to have anything to do with or know anything about. So I will dismiss it. I called the College Lake County in the present day and got the answer. My perception is very accurate, consistent to what's been true about my background. I can very clearly describe it. I do need the expertise. I'm good and strong here. I've got my savings. I'm expecting to continue on with a very successful career in 2007. Okay, I am skipping considerably further ahead. It's definitely a rough draft. How I'm going to structure this once I get up in present day form, I'm not sure. But I'm slipping this in 2007. This, what I just shared with you, spanned, actually, to be as honest as I can be, between 2009 up to present day, which is 2012, of course, and it's 10/6/2012. Okay? So, to me, I was just simply going for the proper context of exactly what the intended purpose was meant to serve. I did not have the slightest clue to know what corruption was, yet. I know I'm slipping in 2007. Boy, what I've experienced and learned out here, foreign, completely foreign. Where I come from age 7 through 41, never, not one single time in Lake County, not once. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share. I do like to build on curiosity. As far as the EQ, long gone. Not even a factor. It's in a completely different context of something that I don't know very much about yet. But I'm going to be sharing that very soon. And so, you know, I still know Steve, and he knows me very well. And this is exactly why I'm doing this. I'm sending him the link. I have to completely respect him. I'm not disclosing his last name. If it ever becomes relevant, though, I'm sure. He's going to look at all these videos, I'm sure. Maybe he won't, but I think he will. Okay, I'm going to highly respect. Sure. This will be historic, I'm sure, by the time this is further refined. I expect the truth to come out. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay. Falsified medical records and psychological malpractice. That's what I know of. We've touched upon it a little bit. Okay? I would never even believe I'm saying what I'm saying there in 2007. Never. I would never believe that. Too much of the highest level of honesty, integrity, and healthiest context. Exactly towards the intended purpose. The basis. Or, and I will leave this up to you. No history of delusions. No way. No way. I don't have any of this history. Or is it an incorporated norm? Pumping people up on 10, 15, 5. Now, this is something I did not know about until 2012. I have no history of that. It's not part of where I come from. This isn't a hurricane. You have to learn, experience, and grow. Or is it? Makes me really wonder what's in those healthcare laws and education and labor. Do you know anything about that? I'm certainly someone that knows absolutely nothing about politics or any sociology influence or anything in corporate as a norm. I wouldn't even be thinking about things like I just know what's been true from age 7 through 41. It's been very consistent. Only the highest level of honesty, integrity, and the healthiest context. And what I'm about to learn about in just a couple of years here, I want to share it with you. Not because I've always been most interesting. You got all of my history now. Boundaries are always in their proper context, or are they? Thank you. Thank you for letting me share about something which is quite a bit different. I understand where there's a basis. That's it. There are no ulterior motives. Or are there? When I began to experience and learn about 4 or 5 years later, I will include in present day form, this is what I understand of the most serious form of boundary violations and ulterior motives, where there's absolutely no basis. It's thoroughly corrupt. I'm inputting it relatively close to the date. Okay? I'm getting up to present day. And now I'll do the next update. I continued to submit a resume, but something was missing. That EQ that came just a year or two later. I tried again. Thank you very much. I'm taking a guess, though, honestly, falsified medical records and psychological malpractice. God only knows how I could get myself in a situation like this. Only the truth. Only. In no manner, what I understand, does this have anything to do with medical in any manner. I didn't know anything about this yet. I was going through an experience, though, where I understand my perception is accurate. It's not really what I think, it's what I've learned from other people in my history. I think that's very much self-explanatory, what I've shared. I went very much into depth as far as that goes, the earlier years. And I can honestly say I am very fortunate with what my background has consisted of. Extremely fortunate. Thank you. Thanks very much.